What's going on, guys? For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Terrence Price. This video is probably going to end up going on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I've had it for quite a few years, but I'm actually going to try to start getting some content uploaded. And basically what I want to do, well, first of all, let me give a little bit more of an explanation, introduction as to who I am. So like I said, my name is Terrence Price. I have been blessed enough to have the ability to just start recently making music. So I do have 2 songs out right now on streaming platforms. The first song that I put out is called Uncle Tom. The second song was called Go to Sleep. A little bit about me as a rapper. I don't really give myself a title, so I wouldn't necessarily say that I don't give myself the title of conservative rapper or a Christian rapper per se. Now, other people can call me that if they want to, and I might use certain hashtags sometimes, but I wouldn't say that, yeah, Terrence Price is a Christian rapper. It doesn't mean I'm a secular rapper, because I'm not. I just know that when you give yourself a title, people are more likely to put you in a box, and people are more likely to label you. And when it comes to rapping, whether you agree with the message or not, whether you like me or not, or whether you like the music or not, one thing that you can't say about Terrence Price is that I'm predictable, right? So I try to always keep things fresh. I don't want to be old. I don't want people to like, well, I know what Terrence is going to talk about, or I know how he's going to do it. That's one of my biggest complaints about a lot of rappers nowadays. Everybody sounds the same and they're predictable. Most of them talk about foolishness, and I mean that's not what I bring to the table. So hopefully people will enjoy the music. Again, whether you agree or disagree with what it is that I have to say. Now, I will mention that the songs Uncle Tom and Go to Sleep, those are conservative songs, conservative in nature. Okay, and I'm just speaking the truth. So that's a little bit about who I am as a rapper. As far as what you can expect from the content, like I said, these first 2 songs, they are political. Not every song will be political. Sometimes I might give you a workout song. Sometimes I might talk about anxiety, depression, mental issues, things of that nature. I mean, I'm human too. I struggle with anxiety, depression, whatever it is. But the key is that you don't stay there. You don't let yourself stay in that pit. But we'll get to that at a later time, Lord's will. So sometimes you might get a rap pop song. You know what I mean? Something for the ladies. Full of surprises. I try to keep things interesting. But yeah, I am making music now. Ultimately, what I hope the YouTube channel will serve the purpose of these videos, because I'm going to try to start doing these more often and be a little bit more active on social media platforms as well. The ultimate goal of this video and the ones that come after it, basically what I had in mind was to break down the lyrics, especially if they're political, because you don't have enough people in the world that speak the truth. And when they do speak the truth, big tech and whoever else will try to cancel them, keep them quiet. A lot of people are afraid to speak the truth and say what needs to be said because they don't want to get backlash. I'm a peaceful guy. I'm not looking to stir up controversy per se. That's not my goal. It just so happens that when you speak the truth, a lot of times it's controversial. And I'm just someone who speaks the truth, and I won't be intimidated by anybody or anything. I'm just gonna say what needs to be said. And that's one of my biggest complaints about people, and about especially the churches, the Christian community, is whenever you start speaking the truth, then people want to say, well, why are you judging me? Or we're not supposed to judge each other. We're not supposed to call people out. It's actually not true. It's actually unbiblical to to say that. But anyway, I digress. I want to explain the lyrics of the songs that I put out, especially the political ones, from not only a technical standpoint, from a musical standpoint, but also how it relates to the issues of the world. And that first song being Uncle Tom. 5 minutes. This is just an impromptu video. I'm just freestyling this. It's early in the morning. I'm looking kind of rough. I need to shave and so on and so forth. But here we are. I'm just going to speak the truth, and I'm going to take you from the beginning of Uncle Tom to the end of it, or I'll hit the main parts and I'll talk about basically how that relates to my ideas on the issues of the world as it pertains to the black community. Okay. And for those of you that aren't aware, an Uncle Tom, I'll explain briefly what an Uncle Tom is. And that's the name of the song, Uncle Tom. So, and if you haven't heard the song, by the way, I'm probably going to end up putting the link to my website that'll take you to the songs, Go to Sleep, and also Uncle Tom. Like I said, I'm probably going to put this on YouTube and maybe post it on other platforms. But the link to my website is going to be in the description, so you can go check that out. If you haven't heard Uncle Tom and Go to Sleep yet, they're streaming now on all platforms, so go take a listen to them. But yes, Uncle Tom, and if you heard the song, then you've seen the cover art. On the cover, that's an actual picture of Uncle Tom. So in the black community, an Uncle Tom, that's pretty much the worst thing that you can be called, in my mind, as far as I understand it. An Uncle Tom is basically a black person who has sold out. The black community will say, well, you sold out to the white man, to the powers that be. It's really, it's a derogatory term. It's a put down, like I said, the worst thing that you can be called, the worst thing a black man can call another black man within the black community. Basically, you're looked at as weak. You acquiesce to the white man, you capitulate to the white man, or you're looked at as if you care more about the white people than you do your own people, your own community. Okay, so that's what an Uncle Tom is. Okay, and I actually start out the song. It's wonderful, really, how it all came together. I start out the song with an audio clip from the movie. There's a movie called Uncle Tom, and it's pretty recent, I believe. I think it came out in like 2020, I think, something like that. It's a really recent movie. It's a good movie. It's a documentary, and you have a lot of black conservatives like Larry Elder, Candace Owens, and man, I don't remember everybody that was in that movie. It's a pretty big cast, but a wonderful group of people, smart, intelligent individuals, black conservatives, like I said. And basically what it is these individuals are just giving their thoughts and opinions, and some of them tell their story, because you have several of them in the movie that weren't always black conservatives, and they used to be Democrat or liberal, and they used to be for the left, and they would tend to vote as such. And they detail their story about what helped them wake up and see things differently and not vote Democrat simply because they offer free things. And I think that's what a lot of black people do, unfortunately, is they fall victim to the tactics of the left, of the liberals, of the Democrat. And whenever I say Democrat, look, I'm not talking about every single person that's a Democrat. I'm talking about the powers that be, okay? Big tech, all right? These politicians, that's who I'm talking about. That's who I'm referring to when I say that they manipulate the black people, and they're using our past trauma as a tool to keep us enslaved and to keep us angry, okay? And yeah, in the movie, like I said, you have several black people who detail their story and their life and how they came up, and they used to vote Democrat and used to be liberal because they bought into the propaganda, um, the handouts, the welfare, the food stamps, just things that, Black Lives Matter, just things that make it seem like the left, the Democrats really care about the black community when in actuality they don't. So that's basically what the movie is about. Just Candace Owens, Larry Elder, etc., etc. The cast is talking about their thoughts and basically what it means to be a black conservative, and maybe some of them had some interesting stories to tell. Maybe they were called an Uncle Tom, or they received some sort of backlash, or maybe were treated a certain way because they identified as a black conservative. Okay, maybe they lost friends, things of that nature. And I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit. Just want to give a quick synopsis. But so I was actually able to get, and Larry Elder was the director, by the way. Him and Justin Malone, I think is his last name. I was actually I called the Larry Elder show whenever I was trying to put the finishing touches on the song. So I already had the verse and hook and all that, and I spoke with somebody there, and I told them about the song, and I told them about the movie, the idea that I had, and he gave me the name, Justin Malone. So I reached out to him through email. He got back to me, and yeah, he was fine with me using the video clip in the song, which I was really thankful for. So thank you, Justin Malone, for that. And actually, the chaplain at my job, he was nice enough to let me use the movie. I watched the movie. It's an excellent movie. And whenever I stumbled across the clip, that's how the song starts. It's a clip of Larry Elder in the beginning and Candace Owens in the beginning. I thought that, and there are lots of lines that I liked from the movie. But I thought what they had to say, it's only about like 20 seconds, I think, in the intro, but I thought what they had to say was really powerful, so I decided to start the song with that. So that's how it starts. Larry Elder is explaining, I think he's being a little bit facetious, but he's basically explaining what it means to be an Uncle Tom, right? Kind of some of the things I talked about earlier. An Uncle Tom is someone who isn't a victim, who doesn't have the victim mindset, someone who believes in hard work and doesn't want to live off of welfare and handouts and things of that nature. Is a hard worker. That's basically what an Uncle Tom is. I'm kind of just paraphrasing what Larry Elder said. And then it cuts to Candace Owens, and Candace Owens has a very powerful message, and she said that, again, I'm paraphrasing, but she said that black conservatives, we're the ones who are escaping the plantation. And I thought that was a very powerful statement. And I said, okay, I'll put that in the song. And I'm actually trying to get a hold of them and several others like Winsome Sears, Officer Brandon Tatum, so on and so forth, to listen to the song because I think they might like it. And plus, they're in it. Candace Owens and Larry Elder are. So I'd like to get their thoughts on it. But anyway, that's how the song starts out. Okay. After that, I start rapping, and I say, they call me Uncle Tom simply because I seem intelligent, or maybe because the way that I speak is eloquent. Okay? Going back to what I said earlier about what are some of the attributes or characteristics that a black person would have, or a certain way they might portray themselves that might get them called an Uncle Tom. Okay? So you seem intelligent, and the way that you speak is eloquent. Okay? Now, I've been told, and they weren't being mean about it. I think they meant it in a good way. They were basically just saying that I sound, yes, intelligent when I speak, or certain words that I use. But I've been told I sound like a white boy. Maybe not necessarily the way my voice sounds, but again, just the words that I use. I love words. Sometimes I'll read the dictionary. You'll hear me whenever I'm rapping. I mean, I started out Uncle Tom using the word eloquent. Well, what kind of rapper says the word eloquent, especially a black one? Well, like I said, I like words. I'll read the dictionary sometimes. Man, I'm all about knowledge, giving knowledge to just to people in general. And I'm always looking to learn, right? You can never arrive at a place where you feel like you know everything. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I'll hear people talk, or I'll hear a song and someone might say a certain word, and I'm like, man, what does that word mean? That's an interesting word. I never heard that word before. So I'll go look that word up, and there you go. I've learned something. As opposed to what you hear on the radio nowadays from most of these artists, man, is just promoting secular, satanic messages, really, that are destroying the black community. So it's funny that those guys are looked at as heroes, but yet people like myself or Larry Elder, basically anyone that's a black conservative, the majority will look at you as, well, a sellout, an Uncle Tom, if you will. So, but yeah, I want to do that for other people. I want to educate people, and I want people to educate me. If people disagree with my beliefs, with what I'm saying in a song, it's perfectly fine. We can have an amicable conversation. You know what I mean? Maybe you can teach me something that I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about something. I don't know. Let me know. Talk to me. I'm always open to have a discussion, even if we disagree. You know what I mean? But I want to, instead of talking about money and stuff that doesn't really matter, I'm not talking about secular stuff, right? How much money I have, cars and things like that. None of that stuff really matters, man. Instead, I want to make people think. I hope it provokes some thought at things that I say in the song, okay? But going back to the beginning, speaking eloquent, you look, if you've ever watched The Fresh Prince, you look at a character like Will Smith versus a character like Carlton. Carlton might be looked at as an Uncle Tom because of the way that he dresses or the way that he speaks. He might be called an Uncle Tom, or maybe be told he's not black enough, right? I don't, if you're familiar with the Hodge twins, I love the Hodge twins. I'm trying to get a hold of them as well, get them to listen to the song. I actually hope to make a music video for Uncle Tom soon in the near future, the Lord's will. But they've been called an Uncle Tom. I love the Hodge twins, and I watch their videos, and people have told them they're not black because they're black conservatives. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. And that actually brings me to my next point, the next person I want to talk about, which is Terry Crews. And I mentioned him in the next line of the song. I said, simply because the way that I speak is eloquent. And when Terry Crews disagreed with the populace, we simply pointed the finger and said he's irrelevant. A few years ago, when Terry Crews came out and said that we have to make sure that Black Lives Matter doesn't transform into Black Lives Are Better, and ultimately it becomes black supremacy. And he got a lot of backlash from that. Now, I agree with what Terry Crews said, but a lot of the black community said that he's irrelevant, or said things like he's not black, and so on and so forth. And that's what I'm talking about. You see what happens within the black community if you disagree. Well, really, just about all communities now, but this is mainly pertaining to the black community. When you disagree with the majority, if you're a black conservative, then you might get backlash. You might be called an Uncle Tom, a sellout, things of that nature. Okay, so I really liked what Terry Crews had to say, and I want to explain, I want to go a little bit more in depth on what Terry Crews said about, I want to add to it what he said about we have to make sure that Black Lives Matter doesn't transform into Black Lives Are Better or black supremacy. I actually say that in the song. I actually talk about black supremacy. And to me, that's very elitist-like. And ultimately what you're doing is, because this certain group of people disagree with you, you are excluding them. Okay? To me, that's very elitist-like when you tell someone or you're not black anyway, or you're not black enough, or we never looked at you as black, or we never accepted you, or so on and so forth, man. And that's not right. And that's very damaging. And I say that in the song. What did I say? And when Terry Crews disagreed with the populace, we simply pointed the finger and said he's irrelevant. But the point I'm making is, though we have truly suffered, talking about, I know that we've suffered in the past, slavery, but man, you got to let that go. You can't stay stuck in that. You can't stay stuck in the past and have that anger today, okay? Because it's just destroying us as a people, and it's making us easier to manipulate. But the point I'm making is, though we have truly suffered, we're supposed to be truly brothers, yet we hurt and exclude each other. And simply because we have a different opinion, and so we are not seen as a tenant civilian. All right, and that's basically just me saying in a different way, to continue on with the rhyme scheme. I'm basically just saying, because we, like Terry Crews, if you have a different opinion than what's popular, if you're a black conservative, then you might be excluded, even though we're supposed to be brothers. But you won't be looked at as a tenant civilian, or, you won't be looked at as black. So tenant civilian, that's just me kind of trying to be clever with the wordplay, like I said, and continue on with the rhyme scheme. We're not seen as a tenant civilian, and simply because we have a different opinion. So we are not seen as a tenant civilian. Your anger is misplaced. You serve a wicked dominion, and BLM has made you a pivoting minion. And basically with that line, what I'm saying is that it's pretty straightforward. I mean, your anger is misplaced. You serve a wicked dominion. BLM is not good news. It's easy to find. The founders, they're actually Marxist. Marxist and communism go hand in hand. All right. And you can go look at the countries that are, that have communist beliefs, or that are Marxist socialism. None of it's good. You can just go look at how those countries have dilapidated, and how the government has full control over the people, which is what they're trying to do here. Okay. So that's basically what I'm saying with that line. Okay. Pivoting minion, they're keeping you in the same place. It's like basketball. Whenever you pivot, you can't move. You can only move a certain way, but you can't really go anywhere. You pivot, or you go around in circles. Okay. That's what I'm saying about so many people, especially the black people, that buy into the Black Lives Matter propaganda. And I'm not here to call anybody names. It's not intended to make you feel bad about yourself or anything like that. I'm just simply speaking the truth, man. But when you're angry, when you stay stuck in the past, when you don't see reason, when you don't see things for what they are, when you don't want to accept the truth, then you're likely to be a minion of that dominion. Okay. You're enslaved by your anger. You're not going anywhere. You're going around in circles, hence pivoting minion. Okay. So just some wordplay. I wanted to explain that. Okay. Still working on getting the lyrics posted. I need to do that. But I thought maybe giving this breakdown would, me explaining some of the lines, like pivoting minion, maybe things that aren't straightforward, maybe it would shed a little bit of light and it would make more sense. Maybe you can go back and listen to the song and it will hit a little bit differently now, and it'll resonate more after you've watched this breakdown video. So BLM has made you a pivoting minion. What did I say after that? And simply because we have a different opinion, and so we are not seen as a tenant civilian, your anger is misplaced. You serve a wicked dominion, and BLM has made you a pivoting minion. Yeah, I have the audacity to speak the truth while y'all laugh at me. And actually, the casualty side of me, rapid tackling, subject matters that have to be. Guess I'm vapid but blaspheming, cause I've had it with black supremacy. Did he just practically diss his own race? I'm just speaking truth from the streets into the booth. If you feel me, go ahead and say, stand strong, and then it goes into the hook. And basically I'm saying, you can call me what you want. In fact, go ahead and call me Uncle Tom. Let me, and I'll try to, this is already 25 minutes about, let me explain that line really quickly, and then I'll try to just give a brief rundown of the second verse, and I'll close the video out. I don't want to ramble on for too long, but that line, everything that I just said, okay, that's probably the most intricate part of the song. I said, yeah, have the audacity, meaning I'm going to say what I have to say no matter what. Yeah, have the audacity, speak the truth while y'all laugh at me, all right? What I've been saying this whole time, I might sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say it again. When you speak the truth, you have some people that will stand with you, and you have a lot of people, probably more people, that might disagree with you, and they might hate you for it. You might be called names. You might lose friends. Since I've started becoming a little bit more active, a little bit more vocal on social media like Facebook, I've seen my friend count dip a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to say what I have to say. No one's going to make me be quiet. No one's going to intimidate me and make me change up my stance. A lot of people, you see it a lot of times, especially with these celebrities. You know, they'll say something and then they'll start to get backlash, and then they'll back off. They'll capitulate and they'll apologize and they'll take back what it is that they said. Man, I'm not gonna do that. And if that's the difference between me having millions of listeners and subscribers and followers on these streaming platforms and on YouTube, and thousands of millions of friends on Facebook, if me speaking the truth like that in an unapologetic way, in a good way, but in an unapologetic way, because I'll be bold about it, if that's what keeps me from having those millions of followers and whatnot, if that's the difference between millions of followers and, I don't know, 20, then it is what it is, man, because I'm not gonna change up. So yeah, have the audacity, speak the truth while y'all laugh at me. And actually, the casualty saddened me. I don't like to hear about stuff going on in the news about someone perishing, or the media will try to spin it and make it seem like, well, there's police brutality and they're harming unarmed black men. And then you do some research and you find out, well, excuse me, well, maybe that, that guy was going for a police officer's gun or something like that, or they were wielding a knife, something to that effect, or they had a criminal record. Now, I'm not saying, well, because you've been to jail a few times or because you have a criminal record, then you're of no value. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that oftentimes people put themselves in certain predicaments where things might go left, okay, where something bad might happen. And unfortunately, you get a situation like the George Floyd, or Mike Brown, or whoever else. Let the media try to paint those guys out to be innocent, but they weren't. Okay, again, not saying that because you're a criminal then you deserve bad things to happen. It's not what I'm saying. I'm really saying that you can put yourself in a bad situation when you don't believe, or when you don't listen to what the police officer is telling you. You don't listen to what people are telling you when you're going out already committing a crime like robbing somebody, stealing, so on and so forth, man. Then you open up the door for negative consequences, or something bad to happen to you, man. And I hate to see it. I hate to see it. So that's what that line means. It's pretty straightforward. But people might think, well, Terrence doesn't care. Terrence is a sellout. He's an Uncle Tom. That's what I'm saying with that line. So actually, the casualty saddened me. Rapid, tackling, subject matters that have to be. People might look at me as being rabid or crazy for saying things that are controversial. Rapid, tackling, subject matters that have to be. I'm talking about things that need to be talked about because no one else is saying it. We don't have enough people that are speaking the truth. So that's what I mean with that line. Rapid, tackling, subject matters that have to be. Guess I'm vapid, but blaspheming. Because I've had it with black supremacy, okay? The word vapid just means boring, dull. People might think that I'm boring. People might think that I'm dull because I'm not doing what's popular in the world. Speaking the truth isn't popular in this day and age. Okay, it just isn't, and you get a lot of backlash whenever you speak the truth. My rapping, I'm not talking about foolishness. I'm not talking about superficial things. You're not going to see me posting pictures of money and cars and going to clubs and things like that. I'm not about that. All right. People might think that I'm boring, but it is what it is. Okay. So that doesn't bother me at all. Guess I'm vapid, but blaspheming because I've had it with black supremacy. But I say it in an interesting way, so that way it fits with the rhyme scheme. Okay. But that's basically what I'm saying. It might be looked at as blasphemous. It's looked at as blasphemous whenever you disagree with Black Lives Matter. Or again, Terry Crews gets backlash. Candace Owens gets backlash. Larry Elder gets backlash. They called him the white, the black face of white supremacy, which is really ridiculous. But so that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. It's treated as blasphemous whenever you have these views. Yes, I'm vapid, but blaspheming because I've had it with black supremacy. And I'm just echoing what Terry Crews said a few years ago. Man, it's just that this Black Lives Matter thing, it can quickly transform into black supremacy. And so you now a lot of blacks are getting, because of reparations and whatnot. I mean, that's I can talk all day. I don't agree with reparations, right? I don't agree with reparations because it's unquantifiable, for one thing, man. You can't blame the people of today for what happened in the past. Okay? You just can't do it. All right? That's like saying, let's say that, I don't know, your parents stole something from me. Okay? And if I go to you and if I have an issue with you, but yet your parents are the ones who treated me wrong, they did me wrong, well, that's not your fault. I can't ask for you to return what they stole from me. It's not your fault. You had nothing to do with it. And I'm simplifying it, of course, but I like to speak in metaphors, analogies. And I liken that to, that's basically what reparations is, man. Is you can't, and ultimately what that does is it breeds, within the white community, it breeds the term, white guilt. You've heard of it. It breeds white guilt. It makes white people feel like they have to go along with Black Lives Matter and they have to like characters like Obama, okay? Because if they don't, then they'll be looked at as a racist, okay? Or a white supremacist. And those terms, they get thrown around so much. The term racism, that gets thrown around way too much. And I'm tired of hearing that term. Like, and I'll use the very old example. I'm walking down the street, right? And there's a white person walking down the street and a black person walking down the street. Okay. Now that black person might be wearing a hoodie and the white person, maybe he's also wearing a hoodie, right? But if the individual, or if I switch sides and I choose to walk on the side of the street that the white person is walking on versus the black person, well, then I'll be labeled a racist. And that's not what racism is. And racism isn't something that you can be. Racism, you can't accidentally be a racist, man. Like it's in the heart. Like if you just hate a certain group of people just because of their race, then, or you wish you have ill feelings towards them, then yeah, then I would consider you a racist. But I think people, they confuse the term racist with stereotyping. You can stereotype somebody, and I don't even know if there's anything wrong with that necessarily. I mean, yeah, I think we all probably stereotype people just by looking at me. If this is your first time hearing me speak for a prolonged period of time, maybe you had a stereotype of me in mind. Maybe you didn't expect me to say words like capitulate or acquiesce and things of that nature, right? Again, I've been told I sound like a white boy. So people already have a certain idea about the kind of person that you are. I feel like we probably make certain decisions or have a certain picture of a person painted in our minds pretty early on. And then we get to find out a little bit more about that person. Okay. But that's basically what it boils down to in my mind. I think that people just confuse the term racism and stereotype often. And they say, well, you're a racist whenever I think they actually mean, okay, well, you stereotype me. And I don't care if people stereotype me. You know what I mean? I don't care if people stereotype me. Like, that's fine. Like, I know that I'm different from a lot of black people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So I don't care if people stereotype me or think a certain way about me. Okay. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I was talking about black supremacy and actually the casualty side of me, rapid tackling, and I was explaining that rhyme scheme. Okay. So actually, the casualty side of me, rapid tackling subject matters that have to be guessing vapid but blossoming, because I've had it with black supremacy. Did he just practically diss his own race? And maybe a lot of people in the black community will think that I'm dissing them or whatever because of the things that I'm saying right now, but I'm not. And I later say in verse 2 that, don't get me wrong, I love the black community, but why do we reward each other for acting foolishly? Right? Again, a lot of these artists, these rappers, man, they're looked at as heroes. We have a lot of young people in the black community, just even outside the black community, man, that look up to these guys, that talk about drugs and things of that nature, man, and brag about that street life. And it just doesn't make sense to me. But yet people like Larry Elder, Candace Owens, and so on and so forth, they'll be called names whenever all they're trying to do is wake people up and give people knowledge. But in actuality, it's the Black Lives Matter and the people that are doing these riots that are destroying communities. Okay, these riots aren't helping anybody. You're not helping anybody by calling them a sellout, by saying, well, you're not black because you don't want to give in. You don't want to go along with our wishes and our demands and what we believe. That's wrong, and that's just causing even more division. Okay, 38 minutes. Try to wrap this up soon. So anyway, the hook is pretty self-explanatory, I feel. Stand strong is how I started off. Speak the truth, stand strong. Don't be intimidated by people. Be amicable, but be bold and speak the truth. I'll forever stay odd. All right? Again, when you speak the truth, you're going to be looked at as odd. I am a little bit socially awkward. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to give in to the ways of the world, and you shouldn't either. So I'll forever stay odd. I'm here to speak the truth, and for that I thank God. I thank the Lord that He's blessed me with this opportunity to be able to make this video and to make songs like Uncle Tom and Go to Sleep. Have a lot more songs to make. I always have ideas, always working on something. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll forever stay odd. I'm here to speak the truth, and for that I thank God. You can hate it, you can love it. Every day when I'm in public, you can call me what you want. In fact, go ahead and call me Uncle Tom. All right? Doesn't matter where I go, I'm going to speak the truth. You can call me what you want. In fact, go ahead and call me Uncle Tom. Go ahead and hate me, but never for a second think you're ever going to break me. Again, you can hate it, you can love it. You can hate it. You can love it. Every day when I'm in public, you can call me what you want. In fact, go ahead and call me Uncle Tom. And I think I actually switched. I'm supposed to say the second, but I know you hate the truth because I'm black and I don't share the same views as you. Okay? What I've been saying this entire time, people don't want to hear the truth. And when you don't share the same views as them, then they have an issue with it. I know you hate the truth because I'm black and I don't share the same views as you, right? You'll be calling Uncle Tom, most likely, if you don't share the same views as the majority of the black community. And I kind of borrowed a phrase from Joe Biden whenever I said, they want to make us slaves. I don't know about you. I'm going to break them chains, right? Because Joe Biden said they want to put y'all back in chains. That's what you said, right, Joe? So I borrowed that phrase and I kind of, played with it a little bit. Which, interestingly enough, he didn't get any backlash that I know of from saying that. He didn't get any backlash from saying that. But if someone else had said that, someone that they didn't like, someone that wasn't giving them handouts, then someone who wasn't giving them free stuff, then they would have had an issue with it. They would have had a problem with it. Okay? So that's how the hook goes. And then verse 2, I'll get through verse 2 pretty quickly, 41 minutes. I start up verse 2 by saying, they want to enslave us with the chains of our anger by using our past trauma and drama to tame us. And so you hate Trump, loved Obama, even though he was heinous, is dangerous and flagrant to say this. But we kill each other, and that is quite evil. Lift up a handout supplied by the government, but then turn around and get upset with the white people. A lot of black people just voted for Obama simply because he was black. Okay, and he didn't help anybody. He didn't do anything for the black community. All right, I think a lot of blacks have started to wake up though, and they realize that, and they've spoken about that. Okay, they shared their thoughts and their feelings on that. All right. The next line says, even though you hate Trump, loved Obama, even though he was heinous, is dangerous and flagrant to say this, but we kill each other, and that is quite evil. Live off of handouts supplied by the government, but then turn around and get upset with the white people. I said that earlier, that a lot of black people, they have resentment towards white people because of what happened in the past, but yet you're depending on those same white people for your handouts, your food stamps, and things of that nature. Guys, I'm going to say this right now. This is going to be really controversial. Ben Carson, I believe it was at the top of this year, I think it was. Ben Carson, he said, and he got a lot of backlash for this, but he said that welfare has been more damaging to the black community than slavery ever was. And that the black family was stronger whenever we were slaves. And I agree with them. I 100% agree with them. I'll even go so far as to say that this might upset people. I'll even go so far as to say that I just think that we as a people, black people, we were better people whenever we were slaves. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that we don't deserve freedom, right? No one deserves to be slaves. It's not what I'm saying at all. But if you look back at how we treated one another whenever we were slaves, just like Ben Carson said, we were stronger as a unit, we were closer to God, right? That's basically what I'm saying with that. And welfare, it has weakened the black community. And I'll say this, I don't believe in systemic racism, nor do I believe in systemic oppression, but I do believe in systemic indoctrination. That's what I believe in, okay? So while I don't believe in systemic oppression or systemic racism, I do believe that the elite and the powers that be have created the welfare program to keep the black community weak, but that doesn't mean that you adopt a victim mentality, that you can't rise to the top, that you can't go to college and graduate college, that you can't make it doing something that's productive, right? You don't have to be in the street. You don't have to be in a gang, okay? No one's stopping you. No one's stopping you. If anything, I'll say it's easier now than ever because black people, we get a lot of things handed to us, right? But a lot of black people have adopted that victimhood mentality, and I'm not with that. That's why I disagree with the whole reparation, because where do you cut it off? Where do you cut it off? That's why I believe that the welfare program is in place to make the black families weaker, okay? And you look in the black community, you see a lot of single mothers, the dad's not around a lot of the time, okay? And the powers that be know this. That's why that welfare program is there. I've actually heard black women say that they're going to have kids so that way they don't have to work and that the government is going to take care of them. I've heard them say that, okay? So I know what I'm talking about. You see what I mean? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You see how the powers that be have indoctrinated the black people? For them to actually have the mindset that they're going to have kids so that way they don't have to work, so the government can take care of them. I've heard black women say this, okay? And if this offends you, if I'm stepping on your toes right now, well, it's the truth. But you shouldn't be offended if this doesn't apply to you, okay? So if you're not one of those people that is comfortable living off of welfare, that is plotting to have kids just so you don't have to work, then I'm not talking to you. But if what I'm saying makes you feel a certain way, then this is for you. But instead of getting offended, listen to what it is that I have to say. Listen to what people like Larry Elder have to say and let it resonate with you. But that's the first thing we want to do as people whenever something offends us, right? We want to point the finger or we want to fight back. The truth does hurt, but it's like working out. It's uncomfortable, but it's how you grow. So that's what that line means. We kill each other, and then it's just quite evil. Live off of handouts supplied by the government, but then turn around and get upset with the white people. 47 minutes. Try to wrap this up soon. And then I say, I guess you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping when you're stricken with rheumatoid arthritis, a human droid, a mindless, who's devoid of kindness. What you destroy is priceless. Are you annoyed I'd write this? Okay. Basically what I'm saying with that line, you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping. I guess you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping when you're stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. All right. Maybe there are people that feel the way that I do, but they're not speaking up. We need more people to speak out. You can't be afraid. So I guess you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping when you're stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. Obviously, when you have arthritis, you can't, move a certain way. You're limited in your movement and your limbs. So I'm saying that if people don't speak out, then we're going to be stricken with rheumatoid arthritis as a society, because the government, crossing into conspiracy theory territory here now, the government, the elite, the powers that be are going to be in control of everything. This will become a communist country, right? Where we won't be able to do any whatever we want. I won't be able to make these songs and speak out against the government, talk about the elite. I won't be able to record this video in my car. We won't be able to go to church and read the Bible. You'll be persecuted, just like they were in the biblical days. You'll be persecuted if you worship Jesus. That's where we're headed. That's why they're trying to take our guns away, so on and so forth. That's why big tech is silencing people that talk about how the election was stolen or this, that, and the third. They're trying to silence us, and that's where we're going. And if we don't have more people that speak out and tell the truth and wake people up, then we're going to be stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. We won't be able to move. We won't be able to function. We won't be able to do as much. Okay, so that's my metaphor. That's what I'm saying with that line. I guess you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping with rheumatoid arthritis. A human droid, a mindless who's devoid of kindness. Going back to the people that want to do these protests and the black people that get upset with other black people such as myself that disagree with Black Lives Matter and the handouts and welfare, and say what I'm saying, calling out the black community for hating the white man, but at the same time living off the white man's handouts. Okay, very ironic, very contradictious in my opinion. Doesn't make much sense. But I'm talking to those people. A human droid or mindless, who's devoid of kindness. Okay, like a robot. What I was saying earlier, a pivoting minion. Black Lives Matter. They're controlling you. A human droid, a mindless, who's devoid of kindness. The protests, again, the black people who want to call me and other people like me and Uncle Tom, call black conservatives and Uncle Tom, call them a sellout. They're devoid of kindness, man. Saying that we're not black. All right, that's not right. So a human droid, a human droid or mindless who's devoid of kindness. I guess you people will stay frozen with fear till you're tripping when you're stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. A human droid, a mindless who's devoid of kindness. What you destroy is priceless. Destroying these communities, man. Destroying people who have a differing opinion. What you destroy is priceless. All right, destroying these businesses, man. Doing these senseless riots, man. What you destroy is priceless. Are you annoyed I'd write this? I'm just saying, I know it's probably gonna step on people's toes, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That's why I said, and don't get me wrong, I love the black community, right? Because whenever you speak the truth, whenever you're firm, and when you pound that podium, whenever you don't apologize for speaking the truth, people are going to look at you and say that you're a hateful person and so on and so forth. But that's not true. Don't get me wrong. I love the black community. That's why I said what I said earlier about actually the casualties saddened me, okay? That people will think that you're heartless and they'll think that you're being judgmental and so on and so forth. So that's what that line means. Don't get me wrong, I love the black community, but why we reward each other for acting foolishly, right? Like these gangs, like we put them up on a pedestal and think that they're tough and all this stuff because they've been to jail, because they're a blood or because they're a Crip, and that doesn't make any sense. Like that's not what's beneficial, man, to the black community and especially to the young minds, because you are poisoning the young people's minds. These celebrities are very influential, and to me that's all part of a plot as well, but that's a topic for another day. We'll get into that later. But basically that's causing even more dilapidation in the black community because it comes from the intoxication that comes from the adulation of these people. All right, so you have a lot of black people that look up to these celebrities that just talk about, drugs and the street life and so on and so forth, man. And they say, well, I want to be like that guy, and so they go out there and they get in a gang, and it just goes down. It just goes downhill from there. That's basically what I'm saying with that line. Okay. And where did I leave off? I guess you people will see frozen with fear till you're tripping when you're stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. A human droid, a mindless who's devoid of kindness. What you destroy is priceless. Are you annoyed I'd write this? And don't get me wrong, I love the black community, but why we reward each other for acting foolishly? And if right now you are mad and view me as hating, well, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just speaking truth from the streets into the booth, and then I go back to the booth. So people might look at me and think that I'm hating, but man, I'm just speaking the truth. And then I close it out by quoting a Bible verse. 2 Corinthians 11:14, I think it is. Someone correct me, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's 2 Corinthians 11:14. And it goes, and no marvel, right? Depending on the version you're using. And no marvel, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. The disguise of Black Lives Matter has worked on a lot of people, but we see through the disguise that can be seen by those with disc eyes. All right? Play on word with disguise. Okay? Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. People think he's just this being that has red horns or whatnot, but he's not. Okay? He's going to disguise himself as an angel of light, something that's pure, something that's good. And that's what Black Lives Matter has done. Okay, that's what the media, that's what the elite have done, is they've disguised themselves as an angel of light by putting in place things like welfare and Black Lives Matter to make it seem like they care about us black people, but sorry, they don't. They're just manipulating us. Okay, this guise, okay, now guise is just another word for disguise, just to cover up an act. Okay, disguise of Black Lives Matter has worked on a lot of people, but we see through the disguise, right? So just the word disguise, we see through the disguise that can't be seen by those with disc eyes. Okay, disc eyes, disc like a disc, a CD disc, a movie disc. Okay, so we see through the disguise that can't be seen by those with disc eyes. I'm saying that it's a movie. Everything that you see, it's a movie, it's an act, it's not real. People are playing characters, they're merely playing a part. Okay, again, the Black Lives Matter and all that, it's just a movie. So I'm saying disc eyes because you're only seeing what they want you to see. You're only seeing the act. You're not seeing the real intention behind it. You're not seeing the real people. So disc eyes. Okay, so it's a play on word. It's a metaphor. It's a punchline. We see through the disguise that can't be seen by those with disc eyes. But people that agree with me, we got to speak out and we got to wake these people up who have the disc eyes. Okay, indoctrinated by this veil of altruism. Awaken us, Lord, for we will all fail without your wisdom. A veil of altruism. Sound like a broken record, what I've been saying this entire time, but I just got through saying it's a veil of altruism, Black Lives Matter, and all of these things that are put in place to make it seem like they care about us black people, but they don't. So don't be fooled by the veil of altruism. Awaken us, Lord, for we will all fail without your wisdom. And we will. You look in the Bible and, man, any group of people or country, whatever it was, whenever they went away from God, things, it just didn't turn out well for them. Okay, and that's pretty much how I end the song. And it's 57 minutes and it's raining, so I apologize if it's messing with the sound a little bit. Hopefully it's not too aggravating, but that's basically my thoughts. That's the breakdown of the song, Uncle Tom. Like I said, the link to the song to my website, so you can be updated automatically whenever new songs come out. That's going to be in the description. I'm going to put that link in there. This is just the first video. The next one, hopefully it'll be shorter. The next one will be Go to Sleep. And that one I'll be covering a wider range of topics. But Uncle Tom was directed towards the black community. And if you watch this video, and if you disagree, that's fine. But let me just say, don't get offended. If it strikes a nerve, don't lash out. We can talk, we can have an amicable conversation, but think about on the things that I said. Think about it. Watch the movie Uncle Tom. Listen to people like Larry Elder, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, the Hodge twins. Listen to these people, and there's so many more. Winsome Sears, right? Listen to these people and really think about what it is that they have to say. Terry Crews, right? Think about it. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, I'm going to put this on YouTube, Facebook, etc., etc. I know I went a little bit longer than I intended to. This was just a freestyle real quick. I just wanted to put this out there. I do want to continue making more videos. Subscribe to the channel. I ultimately would like to start doing a podcast. And as we do this thing, as we journey down this path together, it'll be interesting to see how it grows, but it'll be more structured in the future. But next time, the Lord's will, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of Go to Sleep. But until then, you guys take care.